The Hello Kitty murder is one of the most horrifying and disturbing criminal cases in Hong Kong's history. In 1999, the dismembered remains of a young woman were discovered inside a plush Hello Kitty doll, sending shockwaves through the city and the global true crime community. What began as a missing person case quickly unfolded into a tale of prolonged torture, drug addiction, and psychological horror that gripped the public and forever stained the image of innocence associated with the Hello Kitty brand. Fan Man-yee was a 23-year-old woman living in Hong Kong's Kowloon district. She had endured a difficult life from a young age. Abandoned by her family, Fan grew up in an orphanage and later became addicted to drugs. To support herself, she turned to sex work and became involved in the city's underworld scene. By the time of her death, Fan was working at a nightclub and trying to piece her life back together. She had recently married and was the mother of a young son. However, her past and associations would tragically catch up with her. 3 individuals were later arrested and charged with Fan's murder. 1. Chan Man-lok, 34, a known triad member and drug dealer. 2. Leung Wai-loon, 21, Chan's associate. 3. Leung Shing-cho, 27, the younger brother of Wai-loon. Chan had met Fan at a nightclub and reportedly became infuriated after she stole his wallet, which contained roughly 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, around USD $500. Although Fan returned the money and attempted to make amends, Chan was not satisfied. Instead, he orchestrated a brutal campaign of revenge. In March 1999, Chan and his accomplices kidnapped Fan and brought her to an apartment in the rundown Kowloon district of Sim Sha Tsui. Over the course of a month, they subjected her to unspeakable acts of torture. Fan was repeatedly beaten with metal bars and kitchen utensils, burned with plastic straws, forced to drink cooking oil and human waste, hung by her wrists from the ceiling, humiliated and sexually assaulted. The men treated her as if she were less than human, laughing as they inflicted pain and recording some of the abuse. Her cries for help were ignored by neighbors who later testified they thought it was just domestic disputes. Fan eventually died from the sustained injuries and abuse. Rather than report the death, the perpetrators decided to dispose of her body in a way that would haunt the city. They dismembered her body and boiled parts of it to prevent decay. Most of her remains were discarded, but her skull was placed inside a giant Hello Kitty mermaid doll, alongside a few internal organs. This grotesque detail would become the chilling hallmark of the case and the origin of its infamous name. The case may never have come to light if not for an unexpected development. A 14-year-old girl, known only as Ah Fong, who had been involved in the abuse and had witnessed the horrors, went to the police. She told authorities she was being haunted by the ghost of Fan Man-yee and could no longer bear the weight of what she had seen. Ah Fong led police to the apartment where they found Fan's remains and other evidence of the torture. The grotesque discovery of the skull inside the Hello Kitty doll horrified investigators and made global headlines. The 3 men were arrested and charged with murder. However, due to a lack of forensic evidence proving who had caused Fan's death and the time of her death, prosecutors faced challenges in obtaining a murder conviction. Instead, all 3 were convicted of manslaughter, unlawful imprisonment, and the prevention of lawful burial. Each was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 20 years. Ah Fong, due to her age and cooperation with authorities, was not charged but was placed under protective custody. The gruesome nature of the crime, coupled with the contrast of the Hello Kitty imagery and the extreme violence, captivated the public. The case became a media sensation, with newspapers splashing graphic details and television stations running round-the-clock coverage. The imagery of the Hello Kitty doll, a symbol of childhood and innocence, being used to hide a human skull became a disturbing symbol in East Asian popular culture. Hello Kitty's creators, Sanrio, had no association with the case, but the brand inadvertently became linked to one of Hong Kong's most horrific crimes.